is Dr. T. Varalakshmi discussing you about the methods of the capital budgeting. Capital budgeting, before going to learning about this capital budgeting, it is better to have the knowledge on the time value of the money. So the time value of the money gives the details of the value of the money which is receiving by any person today is more worthful than the money which is receiving by a person tomorrow. So that means not exactly today's unto the tomorrow, but the earliest money receiving by the person is most valuable than the money which is going to be receiving in the future. So let us say this year a person has received his money in time and he has invested that amount on the real estate or in the bank or to any other ventures. And for the next year, it is possible to get the market value increasing of that land or the getting of the interest rate on the investments. Everything is possible. If we get that amount in the next year or after 1 month, anyhow, this month income rates or the market rates might be reduces, and that too the value of the money might be decreases due to the increasing in the dollar's value or other conditions might affect this reduces in this rupee value. So that's why once if we observe the rupee for 10 rupees we are assume that for one product we are spending 10 rupees. For the next year, that might be increased to 15 rupees or the 12 rupees, but not for the 10 rupees, you are not getting the same product because the money value is reduced. Even the transportation or any bus wage, their local transportation also, if you have paid 10 rupees the next year or within 6 months, it is increasing to 12 because for the 10 rupee which you have earlier, it doesn't have the worthfulness because the money value is decreased. So that's why as per the time value of the money which is receiving by at the earliest is always better than the money which is receiving at the later time intervals. So that is the time value of the money. So here it always indicates the power of money differs with the passage of the time period. So that means one time purchasing power parity of the money and another time of the purchasing parity of the money will be differs from one place to another place, one situation to another situations, etc. Because it is going to be affecting the spending levels of the people or saving levels of the people, their borrowing capacity and investing aspects. So in all these situations, money which they are receiving earliest is more important in that aspects. The reasons for this concept is uncertainties will be occurs in the future, which means we may get the expected returns or we may not get the expected returns. And that too, inflation, that is the prices of the goods increasing in this market, and attached interest rates are all accumulating to the money. So that's why it is better to gain the profits earliest than the later. That concept is going to be using in the capital budgeting, that is the time value of the money. So here to calculate this time value of the money, a formula will be used, that is the future value of the money is equals to the present value of the money into 1 plus the rate at which they are getting the returns whole to the power of the number of periods. So for example, they are all presently investing 1000 rupees. They are investing 1000 rupees and they are expecting a rate of interest of 10%. For the next year, that is after 1 year, if they want to know the future value of that particular 1000 rupees, the present value they are investing is 1000. The present value they are investing is 1000 into 1 plus the rate at which they are getting the returns is 0.1 whole to the power of 1, which is equivalent to 1000 into 1.1. That may leads to 1100. 1100. So if they get this 10% rate of return after 1 year, there is a chance of getting 1100. The same thing we can calculate for the present value of that money also. For example, in future, they are going to be get 1 rupee at the rate of 10% discount is there. That is, after 1 year, the future value of the money is 1 rupee and they are going to be get for 10% of the interest rate. Then the present value of that 1 rupee, how to calculate is the future value is 1 rupee. We know that one, that is equals to present value of the money, we don't know, x into 1 plus 0.1 whole to the power of 1. Then so x value will be equals to 1 divided by 1 plus 0.1 whole to the power of 1, that is 1 divided by 1 plus 1.1, that is equals to 0.909. So which means after 1 year if you get 1 rupee means today its worth is 90.9 paisa. So which means if you have 90 paisa today, that is equivalent to after 1 year 1 rupee value. So like this, to calculate the present value of the money for the future returns or the calculation of the future returns for the present investments, to calculate that one based on the time value of the money, this is the formula they are using. So now this time value of the money is going to be allocating for the organizational investments. So if the organization investing on the long term aspects, then that is called as the capital budgeting, capital structure. All this in the previous video already that I have discussed with you what is a capital budgeting and everything, the basics related to this one. Here I am going to be discussing you about the capital budgeting techniques. So here, before going to investing into the any long-term aspects like plant, land and machinery, equipment, furniture, that is which is going to be there with the organization for long run basis. In that situations, they will follow certain techniques. The techniques are all again divided into two elements: discounted cash flow techniques and non-discounted cash flow techniques. Non-discounted cash flow techniques means which they won't take the present value of the money into the consideration or the time value of the money into the consideration. If they consider the time value of the money into the consideration, that methods will be called as discounted cash flow methods or the modern methods of the capital budgeting. But the traditional methods of the capital budgeting won't take the time value of the money into the consideration. So in this traditional valuations method, payback period and accounting rate of return. The time period which is taking to get back their investment is called as the payback period. On an average, the profits earning with their investments is called as the average rate of return. For example, a person has invested 10,000 rupees and every year he is expecting 1,000 rupees of the returns, means it will take 10 years for him to get back his amount. That 10 years is called as the payback period and accounting rate of return. So on an average, every year he is getting 10% of the returns. That is called as accounting rate of return. Then if you see this discounted cash flow criteria, net present value method. So that means the present value of the future expected returns calculation is called as the net present value. For example, if they are purchasing the land and in the future they are expecting the 20,000 or 30,000 rupees profits for that one. So for that 30,000, what is the present value of that one? If that present value is more, then it is better to take that one projects into the consideration. So that if they take into the considerations, that is called as the net present value method. And the rate at which they have to get where the NPV becomes zero is called as internal rate of return. The proportionate of the cash inflows as well as the cash outflows of any investment is called as the profitability index method. So PI method, that is, so all these methods will have the discussion one by one. First thing is payback period. So payback period will indicate the time period which is taking by the investor to get back his amount is called as the payback period. Just like the break-even point, here is also in the capital budgeting, if they wants to take n number of options for the investments. In that investments, they'll see this time period to get back that amount. Let us say the organization has three options to purchase that machinery, three printers they have to purchase, and based on that one printer investments will get within 2 years, another printer investment will get in 2.5 years, and the third one will get in the 3 years. At that situations, it is better to go with the first printer because they're getting back that investments within 1-2 years or only. So that like this, they can filter the investment options by using this payback period. The advantages of this particular method is it is simple to use and easy to understand, and quick solutions will be given for this invest analyst, and the preference to the liquidity is more here and useful in the case of the uncertainties of the investments because they doesn't know what happens in the future. At that time, it is the best method to use. Anyhow, there are certain limitations too with this one. It ignores the time value of the money. That is the first drawback of that one. Not all the flows are all covered. That means only up to their returns get back, only they are taking into the consideration whether they get the profits or loss is not ignoring by this method, and not realistic and ignores the profitability and neglects the project's return on investment. So the percentage of the returning is also neglecting by that method. Anyhow, the further methods covered these limitations too. That is about this payback period method. To calculate this payback period method, the method's formula using is initial investments made divided by net annual cash inflows. In the same example that I've told you, 10,000 divided by 1,000 rupees, that is 10 years. And if the cash inflows are uneven, so which means the first year if they are getting the 1,000 rupees, and in the second year they are going to be get this 2,000 rupees, and the third year if they are going to be get again 1,000 rupees, and fourth year if they are going to be get 2,500 rupees, fifth year they are going to be get 3,000 rupees. So like this, if unevenly they are getting this one, sixth year 1,500 rupees. At that situations, and assume that their investment is 10,000 rupees. Now cumulative values. So that is first year it is 1,000. Second year, by the second year they are going to be get 3,000 rupees, 1,000 plus 2,000, and by the third year 3,000 plus 1,000, 4,000 they are going to be get, and for the fourth year 6,500 they are going to be get, and fifth year 9,500 they are going to be get, and by the sixth year 11,000 they are going to be get. So at that situations, their investments is 10,000. The 10,000 is between this fifth and sixth years. So here the fifth year will be called as the completed years. So first year's unitly covered, that is fifth year, plus uncovered cost. So already they have invested 10,000, but they have recovered at fifth year 9,500 only. So minus 9,500 means the amount they have to receive is 500 rupees of that year, but for the remaining amount to get back. And sixth year they are going to be get for 15. Throughout the year they are going to be get for 1,500 rupees. So which means into 12, because in terms of the months we have to indicate 4 months. So it will take 5 years, 4 months time period to get back their investment back. So if the cash flows are even, then we will use that first formula. If the cash flows are uneven, we will use that second formula. The next method of this non-discounted cash flow method is accounting rate of return, or it is also called as average rate of return. So which means in the total investments, what is the portion of the every annual cash inflows of the organization for the targeted returns is going to be calculating with the help of this average rate of return. The advantages of this particular method is useful for all the cash flows and very easy to understand and comparison, and it will always focuses on the profitability rate, at what rate they are going to be get back that returns. But It ignores the time value of the money, again one more limitation, and ignores the timing of the cash inflows, and it means that are they getting it the second year, third year, that is also forgetting under this method. In both the methods, rejecting and acceptance is both based on the, for example, if the life of the machinery is 4 years, but the payback period is 5 years, which means, so before getting of the investment itself, the life of the machinery is losing, then at that time they'll reject that project. If two are there and least payback period will be accepts. But in the accounting rate of return, highest rate of return projects will be accepts. That is the accounting rate of return and payback period. To calculate this accounting rate of return, the formulas which they are using is accounting rate of return is equals to average annual profits after tax divided by average investments. So to calculate that, average annual profits after tax is equals to total after profits for all the years divided by number of years, and average investments is equals to original investment plus its salvage value divided by 2. This is the formula they will use for the calculation of ARR. The next method of the capital budgeting technique is NPV, net present value, where it is the most suitable method for the any projects by taking the time value into the consideration. So here what I am taking is the present value of the cash inflows and the present value of the cash outflows are taking into the consideration. The highest the NPV will give the maximum benefits to the organization is believing under this method. So for example, at the presently you are investing 10,000 and future you are expecting 20,000. That 20,000's present value when compared to the present is 15,000. Assume that for the 20,000, if you are getting future is going to be give you 15,000 for the present value. Then only 5,000 benefit you are getting that one. So that present value they take into the consideration, that is called as net present value, and the calculation of this is based on this 3 elements, that is future cash flows, discounted rate and initial investment amount. Based on that one, they will calculate this NPV value, and this method of the valuation is simply conducts about the projects to be worthwhile for the doing activity or not, and we just have to see which is the highest the present value of the assets, and that has to be accepted under this net present value. The advantages of this method is it considers both the timing of the cash flows and size of the cash inflows, and as well as the rated discounts can be varied to allow the differentiate the economic circumstances of the country, and it considers the time value of the money and takes opportunities to the reduction of the cost and in the accounts. And some of the disadvantages are it reasonably complex to calculate and explain. It is somehow difficult to calculate, and the final results depends on the heavily on the rate of discount, and NPV can be compared with other projects. So these are all some of the disadvantages of that one. So here to calculate that one, present value of future cash inflows minus present value of initial investments are taken into the consideration. In one video, we'll have the NPV related problems again. So there you can betterly understand about this NPV value initializations. The next method is internal rate of return. So which means where the NPV becomes 0 means at what rate if the organizations will get the benefit, that rate calculation is called as internal rate of return. So here for this interpretation, it makes decision making fast and simple, but it is somehow does not consider the rupee value into the considerations. That is also one of the drawbacks of this one. And negative IRR will give a negative percentage for the investments and negative feedback for the investments. That is also one of the drawbacks of this internal rate of returns. So to calculate this IRR, the formula that we can use is cash flows divided by 1 plus R to the power of I minus initial investment. So where the cash flows is in the time period basis, they will take into the consideration. Then the next third method of the discounted cash flow methods is the profitability index. So simple as the NPV. That the NPV, present value of the cash inflows minus present value of the cash flows or outflows are taken into the consideration. If we take that ratio between these two elements, then that will be called as the profitability index. That will helps to decide whether to accept or to reject the project based on the ratio between the inflows and cash outflows. And the advantages are all accepting or rejecting of a project analysis can be easily done, and assistance in choosing the projects that fit within the budget is easily for this profitability index. And some of the disadvantages are all there, and it ignores the sunk cost, difficult in determining the required rate of return, optimizes the projections may not be possible, estimating the opportunity cost is impossible with this profitability index. Different lives of different projects can have doesn't have the real information for this profitability index. So out of all these five methods, NPV is going to be most beneficial or suggestible method, because there are drawbacks are all more in other methods when compared to the NPV. The payback period, it is ignoring the time value of the money, does not consider the cash flows after the payback period, but NPV considers. IRR does not consider the economies of scale, internal, external economies won't take into the consideration. And reinvestment at same rate, it is assumed, but it is not possible in realistically, and enters the problem of multiple IRR when more than one negative cash inflows may not be possible here. And a project can be the same profitability index with different investments, and vast difference in absolute rupee values are not taking into the profitability index. All these drawbacks are all covering under this net present value. So that's why it is the most suggestible method. So that's about the various capital budgeting techniques and their formulas and what are its advantages and disadvantages. This is a theoretical part only. To better understanding, next follow the problems related to this capital budgeting. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.